Hello and welcome to another episode of Boxing TV. I'm your commentator today, your host, Dan Hewitt. Lovely to see you all. As I say, every single week. This week is, I don't know, I've worked so hard on this week to make something quite special for you guys out there. And I think you're really going to enjoy this. Now, I've got a legend of a guy. I've got two fighters and also an impressionist coming on today. And he's the impressionist, Adam Diggle. Oh my God, he is unreal. Like, we've just done rehearsal backstage, and I swear to God, he is unreal. So make sure you keep tuning in. Everybody tuning in, please do me a massive favor just to support the stream. Give it a like and a share. If you're over on YouTube, we've just hit 3,000 subscribers. Get in. Get in. We've never touched YouTube before, but we're going to get 100,000 really soon. I know it. I'm going to make it happen. Keep all your comments coming in. I love hearing from you. Let's go into some of the comments now, actually. Leslie Webb, evening, Dan. Hope you're well. Thanks for the show and to your guests. Cheers. Thanks a lot. Guys, got a great face for radio. Yeah, I've got a dick for porn as well. Cheers, mate. Dean Beddoes, evening, Dan. Evening, mate. Evening. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. So I really do have the best guests tonight. Mainly... and say mainly, I shouldn't choose my favorites, but it's pretty hard not to with an impressionist called Adam Diggle. Now, Adam is an impressionist and he does everyone like everyone. So when I got told that I'm going to be interviewing Adam Diggle, I thought, how can I possibly get all of these impressions in? So I wrote a panto. And we've done it together, me and Adam. And this panto is absolutely hilarious. And stay tuned for this, because this is what it's called. Tyra Fury and the Gypsy Kingdom. And it's going to be based around Cinderella. And I think you're really, really going to enjoy it. Now, I'm going to be bringing on, first of all, my first guest, Adam Diggle. Make sure you share, legends. Adam, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend? Are you well?
I'm good. How are you, mate?
I'm really good. Someone just said I'd face radio.
Really?
Do you know the last person who did that to me? And I don't mind. I like the trolls. I think it's funny. But I remember being on a show with Amir Khan, and someone called us a nonce. So for about 5 hours, I scoured the internet and I found out where he lived, and I found out he was a teacher, and he pooed his pants. So cheers for that jam to your mum. Anyway, going over here, George Vaylor, greetings from Laredo, Texas. Hiya, mate. Cheers for seeing you. Make sure you drop a like on this video, guys. So, Adam,
hi.
What a talented young man. What? No, you really are. You really are. Now, Nathan, my very, very good friend, he messaged me, and I was in the pub at the time, and he said, look at this video. Check this video out. This video is unreal. He's the best impressionist I've ever heard in my life. And I was like, and I was sitting there laughing into me drink. And I think you were on holiday at the time. And
Yes.
I said to Nathan, I'm going to have to bring you on. Now, you do everybody. I've got to, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to talk to you too much. I want to talk to you after. I think we get straight into the panto of legends. I don't think this is really ever been done. But it's so funny, and his impressions are absolutely unreal. So this is going to be absolutely next level. Check this out, guys.
Once upon a time, there was a girl called Tyra Fury. Tyra was bullied and made to work and clean the house relentlessly. What a life! I clean these floors for these absolute dossers. I just want to be outside and free. At that moment, her cruel, ugly stepsisters, Nigella and Christina Bunce, entered the room. Tyra, please stop sulking and finish these floors, you scraggy, stinking, sullen specimen. That's right. Put your back into it. Give it some willy. Tyra's evil stepmother, Stephanie Bunce, waltzed in after them. Tyra, why are these floors dirty, you useless girl? I want to see them shining, and I mean pronto. With that, the terrible trio left, and Tyra carried on with her chores. Suddenly, she heard a commotion outside. She dashed to the window and saw the town crier was making an announcement. Tonight, live at the royal palace in the blue-blooded corner, the noble king Karl Froch will choose his bride to be. Let's get ready for the royal ball. Damn it! I can't make this ball. I've no dress and no way of getting out of there. It was then that someone flew in through the window. Hey there, sweetheart, it's me. I'm a kid of type. I'm your badass fairy god motherfucker. I think you're very, very special, and you shall go to the ball. You will certainly make a stupendous princess. And just like that, magic. A Ferrari pulled up outside. She had a beautiful dress and glass slippers. Tyra made her way to the ball. She entered the palace and instantly locked eyes with Prince Karl Froch. I tell you what, it's been a really, really good night. But you are the most beautiful thing I've seen in my life. Almost as beautiful as a right hand that I knocked out George Groves with at Wembley. I've fallen for you like you fell over his own leg. Oh, thank you very much, Your Highness. I've got 80,000 reasons why you should be my wife. But right then, the clock struck 12, and a panicking Tyra ran down the stairs. In doing so, she unknowingly lost one of her glass slippers. The next day, the prince was distraught and had to find his princess. He visited every house in the city to find the slipper, to see who would fit the slipper, with no success. The last house he visited was Tyra's. But the stepsisters and her evil stepmother locked Tyra away. Prince Froch knocked on the door. I'm here to find the woman that fits this glass slipper and make her my wife. The evil trio tried in vain to fit their feet into the slipper. Oi, Christina, move out of the way. I want another go. Major, let's have some parliamentary procedure here, shall we? Give it up, girls! If anyone's going to be his bride, it's going to be me. Ladies, you can push and pull about as much as you like. It's not going to fit any of you, is it? And he was right. The relieved prince was just about to leave and continue his search when there was a shouting sound from the next room. Let me out of here, you bum dossers! I'll fit that slipper, mush. Prince Froch knocked on the door. It's you. I'm going to make you my wife. We're going to have 80,000 babies. Get up! The end.
Absolutely unreal. That is
a little bit Alan Partridge towards the back end of that. I'm not going to lie.
Well, he went a lot better than I do. Nathaniel, thanks for joining, mate. I can see you there in the background of the studio. I was just laughing to myself, thinking, what the hell have I walked into? Mate, you are absolutely unreal at impressions. Guys, keep your comments coming in. I want to hear what you think about that. That's absolutely next level. We've got Leslie Webb says, he. Fantastic, never right. Lol. Lee Hurley says, evening, Dan. Evening, mate. Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. And Sophie said, hello, bro. Hello, Sophie. Hope you're well. And Richard Vernon, another great show lined up as always. So, that is absolutely unreal how you can. It wasn't just you completely transform into that person. How did you? Right. Let's start from the beginning with this. How did you realize that you could take someone's voice and literally mimic it that closely?
I think it's something that I've always done silly voices as a kid. I used to watch Rory Bremner all the time. I was a massive fan, and I think he's kind of like my impressions idol, if you like. So from a pretty young age, I've always done daft voices. And my mum as well. This could sound silly, but every toy that I had as a kid had a fully three-dimensional character. My mum was amazing. She really instilled. She was a teacher. She taught primary school kids, so she was really, really imaginative.
and she got me doing accents for all of these toys. So from like 5 probably. So it's something that I've just always done. And yeah, I never really quite realized I could do it as a career. I'm a voice actor, for those who don't know, as well as an impressionist. So yeah, I didn't realize until pretty late on that, actually I can turn this into something that I can maybe do as a job.
You're unreal. You're unreal. Like when you listen to it, so when I've got loads of people, look at this, saying hi. George Vela said he's over in Texas, say pretty cool. Sophie says, "Oh my God, I'm laughing so much." Dean Beddoes, one of my partners over at Mitchell's Automotive, is laughing. It's so funny, and I've been so excited and giddy about doing that. So, guys, if you're just tuning in, we've just done a panto-esque with impressions, and Tyson Fury was the princess, and it was yeah. If you're not seeing,
I've just seen a comment come up.
Can we? Hi, Adam. That's fantastic. Really good. Can you do Dan Hewitt? I don't think it. Angie, what do you reckon? Do you reckon you could try and do me?
Now?
I don't know. Suppose you don't have to.
Oh, give me some time. Give me some time.
You can. Oh, that'd be fun.
I'll listen to you speaking. I'll have a go later.
Oh, that's exciting. Brilliant. Great stuff. So when you're listening to like a celebrity, because you do everyone, you do Boris Johnson, you do is it Joe Lice? Joe Lice is.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Yeah,
he was funny. Which are your favorites? If you could pick top three kind of impressions, what would you pick?
Yeah, Joe Lice, it's up there. I'd probably say, well, actually, there's a boxing impression that I used to love doing, and I kind of can't do it now because he's not really involved in boxing anymore. But it's Glenn McCrory. I used to love doing Glenn McCrory.
Go on, stick us a bit of McCrory. You are really good at that.
Yeah, I mean, I fought, obviously, like when I fought, I was that time that I fought Mike, and he had these hard hands, and I walked in and I had like these pumps, and he was trying to knock me out, but my shorts kept falling down, and he just couldn't. He was just laughing so much. I just loved it. I just loved it.
I honestly, there's nothing more I'd like right now is just go a pub with you and just sit there, listening to like different impressions. That's absolutely hilarious. And which are the other ones? Which are the other ones that your favorite?
I do really. I love any voice that has big range to it. So I like Bunce for that reason. I love doing Brian Blessed, and it's another one that I love to do.
Go on.
To try and do it and not like destroy the microphone on my phone because he doesn't really do anything quietly, does he? So
reminds me, I like this guy. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And it reminds me of the time I was trekking through Borobudur.
it's just like this goes like from zero to. And Teddy Atlas is kind of still. I like doing Teddy as well.
Yeah, mate, your Teddy Atlas is absolutely unreal.
He's someone who does that. Like you're just having a conversation with him.
It's fine. So I'll go down. I'm having a good conversation with you. And then we'll fire men.
And then like just again, just goes. He just has this switch, and he just suddenly shoots off into like 100 and.
I love it. I love it.
Miles an hour.
We got one from Sophia. Can you do Rocky's voice?
Well, kinda.
I can do like a young Rocky, maybe. It's I don't have the depth really, but it's maybe like 1970s Rocky Balboa, maybe a little bit, but it's not one of my strong ones.
But like
so good. The one that I like the most, one of the ones I really liked the most was Bear Grylls. You are so good at Bear Grylls.
Yeah, he's the one that's kind of I started doing some ones on TikTok of him, and he's an absolute dream from an impersonator's point of view, just because he's got a really, really, really steady pattern to the way that he speaks.
Okay.
So he's got that sort of, there's the out of breathness there, and then there's the rhythm in the way that he speaks, and you can just there's a lot to hook onto. The best people impersonators is thank you, Sophie. That's a lovely comment. The best people to impersonate are the ones that have, I think, a lot of what I call them hooks. So whether that's a rhythm thing or little quirks, things that they do, like Chris Eubank Sr. obviously has got that speech impediment. That's an easy thing to hook onto. With Bear Grylls, it's the rhythm. With Joe Lycett, it's like it goes very high pitched, and then that's an easy thing to then go, oh, I can latch onto that and I can grab that. So I think the bigger the personality, and the more the more like physical things they do, that and things that you can go, oh, great, I can capture that and I can use that and I can repeat it. And that's what I look
for. It's really interesting. Harry, thanks for joining, mate. I can see you back there in the chat, fella. I can see and hear you, but I'll bring you on very shortly. For everybody just joining, absolutely unreal boxing impressionist here. That's just mad. Give us a couple. I'm putting you on the spot here, but still, what are your favourite boxing impressions? And can you give us a few?
My favourite one, I mean, Bunce's right up there, and I've met him a few times, and he's just an absolute legend. He's just the way you meet him in real life is exactly how he is when he commentates. He just signs it as an absolute. He's never anything less than 110%, Mike. Unbelievable shot, Mike. And I'm a bit annoyed that Mike no longer works with him, because like I used to do a little bit of a Mike Costello, like, Steve, he's a great show. It is, Mike, absolutely right. I love their little play off together because their voices are so different. They contrast really well. So he's someone.
How about AJ? That was funny when I saw you.
Yeah, AJ's one that is kind of a new one that I do, and he's a little bit tricky. But the way I get into him is like, yeah, real talk. So big up boxing TV. It's like the thing is, AJ, you ask him a simple question. Like, what time is it? And it's like the answer that you get is like, yeah. So, it's difficult because obviously I'm in training, and like when I'm in the gym, like time moves so like slowly. But like when I'm like doing interviews as well, it's like, but I'm just working on myself, on my skills, and getting a bit better. Working with Derek, obviously. So, you know what I mean? So time's all relative.
Mate, I swear. Mate, I'm getting Derek's. Harry, I can see Harry laughing in the background there, mate. How good is he? Absolutely unreal. I'm not going to keep do this, but Tony Value's pretty good.
See, I don't think I think my Tony is a little bit shaky. Like sometimes it comes out well, sometimes it's like you put me on the spot here. So a little way of getting into Tony is it's like but I really think that my scouse goes a little bit. So it's like ask me a question. Ask me something.
Okay, what did you think about David Hay when you tried to put your glove out to punch his fist, and then he jumped in with that left hook?
Cougs, he's just how he is. He's just he's a bit of a prick, but I. But it's just end of the day, just that you fake that injury. That everyone knows that tape was fake. So I just did the job and finished them off. But yeah, I think my belly is really, really weak. I do not think my belly is good.
I think it's brilliant. Well, just to finish with this, because I'm not going to keep asking because I didn't really want to do this, but your Frank Warren is absolutely like you're sitting next to Frank Warren. And we've got somebody who's signed by him. So this is like Frank. Madness.
Yeah, go on, ask me a question then.
Okay.
What's
the best then? What do you think's the best? Are you Queensbury, BT, or what do you think of the Zone?
Well, I think the DAZN is a bit of a. I think it's at the end of the road for the DAZN. I think I'm not going to sit here and talk smack about my competitors. That's something that Eddie Hearn does. But I think that I think that it's a bit of a sinking ship. And if you've got if you're with the DAZN and you want to get your career going off, just give Uncle Frank a call.
Mate. I'm gonna be at the end of this. I'm just gonna be sitting there trying to do them just to send back to you. No way. So when you analyze a voice, then, so you said about rhythm. You said before to me about rhythm and pitch and stuff like that. So what is it you look at with a voice to try and take it off?
I think the first thing I'll try and do is see if I can get what I describe as like the general tone of it, like the general wash of it. Like for instance, with Nigel Benn. It's where it fits in my mouth. If I can get that, I'm like, yeah, okay. If I can sustain that, that's a good kind of baseline.
Okay.
And then I'll look for things to put on top of that, like, for instance, any speech patterns, any rhythm that they have, any speech impediment that they might have, any little things like the Frank Warren, that kind of like that little quirk that he has in his voice, that little downward pitch inflection. So I'll look for little things like that, and I'll layer them up essentially until
It's so cool.
until it kind of basically forms.
It's so cool. I haven't told you this because I was going to tell you on air, but I can honestly see you with like your own like TV show or something where you take off different. Because I think honestly, I think it'd take off. And looking at some of the videos on there, I was saying to one of my very good friends the other day, I was like, if that said 5, 6, 7, 8 million, I wouldn't even blink an eye. I would honestly not even blink an eye.
Right.
So anything I can ever do for you. So what's the plans of your career? What is it you want to do? What is it you want to achieve? Is there anything out there you want to do?
I don't know really. I mean, I'm just happy to see where it goes, to be honest. I'm happy to, I get a huge amount of joy about creating the videos. Like if I can sit down and write a little funny sketch, and I get a huge amount of satisfaction from that and putting it together. So I just want to continue doing that. And if people like it, great. Yes, it'd be great to appear on shows and do impressions and meet the people that that'd be fantastic. Someone's gone. You warmed up now, Adam. You need to do that.
Yeah, he did say that. You warmed up now, Adam. Time to do that now.
Yeah.
You're going to listen to mine back and do it, aren't you? Let's have a quick look at what they love.
Definitely.
Let's have a look. So Sophie said, wow, that's really good. Thank you, Adam. Dean said, Adam is an absolute legend. Love that. That AJ laugh set the tone, which is fantastic. You are one.
We'll thank you, Leslie. Thank you. That's funny.
Absolutely unreal. I just want to say from my end, I'm gonna 100% follow your career, and I'm going to push you at every single thing I can possibly do. Honestly, I just think you're just an amazing person. You're a great guy. You're so talented, and I can honestly see this being massive for you. And I'm not even joking. Massive, and I'll do everything I can in my power to help you and support you along the way. And if you've just tuned in, make sure you share, make sure you like to support the video. And we've just done a panto where a bloody Tyson Fury was Cinderella, and Mike Tyson was the what was it again?
I'm your fairy godmotherfucker.
Oh my God, you're unreal, Adam, mate. Thank you so much, so much for coming on the show.
Appreciate it.
That'll happen one day, I'm telling you.
Thanks. He's got a left hook. I don't want to piss off Mike Tyson.
I'm not sure. I think he'd really appreciate you. I think you're absolutely amazing. You're so talented. And thanks for coming on the show, my man.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And thank you. Lovely comments and everyone for tuning in. And yeah, thank you, Leslie. Absolute legend.
Top man. See you soon. I can't think I've smiled more in an interview in my entire life. That was just absolutely hilarious. So basically got two fantastic fighters. First of all, Nathaniel Collins is the British and Commonwealth champion, and also Harry Scarff, who's known as one of the most avoided guys in domestic boxing. Very talented, two-time two-weight English champion. But I'm going to be bringing Harry on first. He's got a story that I don't know a lot about, and I think it's about time that people do know. Harry, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you?
Better for seeing you, mate. Better for seeing you. How amazing were them impressions?
Yeah, they were good. Yeah, Frank Warren was good. Yeah. And AJ, he pulled them off, defo.
I could honestly sit here all day just listening to him, just keep asking him different things.
Just getting him to do however many people. Yeah, you could just keep it going, couldn't you?
It'd be the best day at the pub ever. Best day at the pub ever. But welcome to the show. Incredibly talented fighter. You've had a couple of defeats along the way, but only in massively high company. And I'm not quite sure even they should have been, if I'm being honest. And I'm always fair. I commentate myself, and I'm always fair. Don't really care what anyone says. I call the fights the way that they are. But what a career you've got so far. I mean, am I right? I think you've had how many fights you've had? Is it 12 or 14 fights?
Yeah, I think it might be 13 fights, I think.
Only 2 losses in that. So I want to talk about you. I want the fans to get to know you. And again, everybody out there, make sure you keep your comments coming in. So what got you into boxing then, Harry? What started this journey for you, mate?
I was just took to the gym when I was a bit of a classic case of naughty at school and went to the boxing gym at 13, and then after that fell in love with boxing and then stuck at it. That was it, really.
Okay, cool. Now, looking at your career, so you've only actually lost to Anthony Fowler and Troy Williamson, and again, I just want to be clear with that. I don't think they were particularly convincing. Certainly in the Troy Williamson fight, I thought that you maybe have done enough to get that win. Do you feel that let's say, are massively underrated?
Yeah, I think so. I think I am, to be honest. Yeah, I think the Fowler fight wasn't a good performance for me. There's a few problems going into that. I know a lot of people do say that when they take a loss, but I was injured, and hindsight's a great thing, isn't it? But and then you've got to remember that Troy Williamson fight that took a week and a half's notice. And then I think my career's been all right, but I'd like to be more active. I'm a fighter who wants to fight. I'd fight every couple of months, like in title fights or whatever. But I've been starved of that a little bit. I mean, this last one, it was just over a year since I boxed before, and then nearly the same again between the Louis Green fight and the Troy Williamson fight. So not been as active as I'd like to be. But I think people do know that I'm a good fighter, and it's a risk and reward, isn't it? It's the business side of it.
Yeah, you certainly avoided. You certainly avoided. I mean, looking at on BoxRec, I think you were 4th in Britain, something like 40 something in the world. There's no reason for you to be avoided at this stage in your career. What I've looked at, I always do my research on fighters. Same with Nathaniel, who'll be coming on a little bit later. Every interview that I saw of you was always talking about your power and how people thought you weren't a puncher. Now, I hear really good things from you as far as being a strong lad through hearsay. Do you think that that's like to your advantage? Do you reckon that if your opponent you don't really want your opponent to know you can punch? Do you feel like that's to your advantage?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I think even that has not enticed people into taking the fight with me. They can look on my record and see I've only got 3 stoppages, but I think even people know, and they're not going in there thinking, oh, it's pillar fisted or anything like that, because I'm strong, I can punch. That's why, like good names I've been in with, they respect me and struggle to deal with me.
Yeah. I mean, why do you reckon you're avoided so much? Is it like, I know you're saying about high risk, low reward. I get that, because it's not like you've got this big machine behind you pushing loads of money and doing all that stuff. And I get that. And it's part of the reason why I do this show. So I believe all fighters deserve the same respect. Especially I wouldn't really necessarily class you as a small fighter, but the people who are don't have these machines behind them, like the DAZN and the Frank Warrens and stuff like that. And I suppose by fighting you, taking a loss to you, it's not going to do a lot for their career, is it? It's lose-lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel that's the biggest reason?
That is, I'd say that's the biggest reason, especially after the Troy Williamson fight, because that sort of highlighted it. A rematch was spoke of. He said we could do the rematch, and then it never materialised. And then after that, he went on, did well, won the British. So people just looked at it as even more of a risky fight, I think. But yeah, I don't know. It's I think without the big promoter and like you say, the machine behind you, it is hard work. It is hard
Not
work.
only that, they're going to be looking after you as well, aren't they? Do you know? If, let's say you're with Frank Warren or you with Eddie or whatever, they almost have a duty of care that they're financially invested in you, so they're not going to chuck you in with the wolves. But on the other end, if you're a really good fighter, you have to go in with the wolves, which you've done. I mean, 12, 13 fights. And you've already fought Fowler and Williamson and some cracking lads. Flatley, you fought. These are good kids. These are national level kids. These aren't bad fighters. I mean, for yourself, I mean, you're an English champion in 2 weight divisions, which is bloody impressive in the kind of small amount of fights that you have had. Tell the audience a little bit about that and the fights that you had to get, because it's hell of achievement.
Yeah, I think the Flatley fight, I'd only had 7 going into that. I think Flatley was 16 fights undefeated then, and got the opportunity to go up. That was first TV fight as well. It was on Channel 5 in Bolton, and we went up and took his title off him in his backyard. So, that was good. And then after that, we jumped straight into the Fowler fight, which was only a couple of months after that. Like I said, I like to be active, and thought, I'll take that. It probably was a little bit too soon. and picked up a niggle and want the best. But even in that fight, Fowler changed his trainer after that. He got rid of Coldwell and went to McGuigan after I boxed him. So he wasn't 100% happy with it, but he would have been even more unhappy with it if I was 100%. But and then the Williamson fight was, like I said, short notice, but I felt like I redeemed myself a little bit from the Fowler performance, and then I had to wait again, and then got the Louis Green fight for the English title at welter. But in that fight, I just thought, because people were saying I was scrappy and not very nice to watch and things like that after the Troy Williamson fight, but after in the Green fight, I showed that I could put on a boxing clinic, if you like, because I felt like I won every minute of that fight and just boxed his head off. There was no holding or any kind of shenanigans in that fight anyway. So it was just a clean boxing performance. And then in this last one against Dujon, I just thought, well, I'll show him again, because Ben Shalom didn't want to let me near any of his welterweights after having me on Sky, even though they said that there'd be an opportunity for the winner of me and Green. But he didn't want to put me near Congo or Marco or any of them, because they were the fights we were calling for. He just left me on the shelf, if you like. So I had to wait for that Dujon fight. That's about it. And then obviously I got the mandatory for the British, which is I was made up about that, because I've always wanted to box for the British. I felt like I missed out with it when Antwi boxed Echo, because I just won the English title, because Antwi didn't want to box me either. He vacated his belt when I was his mandatory. So I thought, well, if he's vacated it and I've just won the English, I've already won it at super welter. I was ranked above him. I thought, I might get the mandatory for the British here, but it never went my way. But to finally get that is good, because I feel like the board have took notice of what I've been doing.
So is this what's next for you then, Harry?
Yeah, I'm mandatory for the British. So Frank Warren's just won the purse bids for me and Echo.
Unreal. It's a
big
great
Derby
fight.
Nottingham clash. So we're just waiting to see if it materialises. So I'm hoping for a date anytime.
That's great. Echo's a great guy. I've commentated over in Nottingham on a few of Echo's fights. He's a lovely, lovely lad. Really, really nice lad.
Yeah, but we used to do a lot. We used to spar. Sorry, I cut you off there. But yeah, we used to do a lot together when I was the weight above him. But coming into welter, it's a natural fight. So we know each other well. It'll be a good fight. But I feel like I've been calling for the fight, and I think I've got the beating of him.
I like it. I mean, because you sparred before, I feel like I can ask this question. So, obviously, Echo's very, very fit. I remember Echo from the amateurs years and years and years ago, and only because of how muscular he was, and his name Echo. That's the reason I remembered him, because it's his unusual name. But he's very, very fit. Do you think personally that you've got the edge of let's say boxing IQ? Do you feel that's the way that you can win that fight? Because standing there toe to toe with, they call him the Engine. Do you think that's ideal to do? That's the right thing to do in that fight?
No, I think. Well, from the spars, I'm someone who can't be bullied. He knows he can't bully me. He knows that from the spars. That I'm big and strong and I'm good on the inside myself. And I've got a good work rate as well. I'm fit, so he knows all of this going into it. But the things that I do different is I can switch. I can get off at my angles, and I'm sharp and I'm big. I'm big and long at the weight as well. There's a bit of size difference. I know size ain't everything in boxing, but I feel just big and strong at welterweight. And he's going to be walking in, like we mentioned earlier, about the way I punch. I feel like I punch hard, and I think he'll know that from the spars as well, to be honest.
I like it.
So if he's
interesting, you've got that history.
Walking in, if he's walking in, then he knows he's going to be getting tagged regularly.
I like it. So another one, another name that I've been hearing loads to do with you is Florian Marku, the Albanian fighter. I mean, have you sparred with him? Because I saw an interview where I saw an interview where he said you'd been in the same gym, and I thought, you think he's been a bit kind here. I mean, no, I'm not going to ask you that question. I was going to ask you how the sparring went. But did you feel that you did pretty well in the sparring?
Yeah, I think it was my gym, and I was always number one, and that's the way it remained while he was at the gym. I was the number one. He won't come into my gym and getting one up on me, because that's how it works, isn't it? Especially if someone who fancies himself coming to the gym as a big star or whatever, because he came with that kind of thing, didn't he? He'd just come over, he'd just done the boxer fights, loads of followers and whatever he's got. But yeah, no, I felt like I always remain number one.
Great. Well, that answers my question. I don't I know the code. Do you know what I mean? I'm not. There's a reason why I don't go to press conferences and do this, because I just can't stand the bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Of the people asking stupid questions, and I can just ask you, but in a nice way. Nathaniel, thanks for waiting there, matey. Appreciate it. You'll be. Hiya, mate. You'll be back on. You'll be on in a second. Yeah. So I mean, people out at press conferences openly say, "Oh, right, how did the spar go? Tell us about the spar." It's like there's a code. Do you know what I mean? You don't do that. So, but I like how you said it. That was respectful of you. I mean, as far as your career itself, then, how far do you feel you can go as far as your career? Do you feel you can make it all the way to the top? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, well, I want the British. I want the British first, and then why not go all the way to the top? I've sparred world class people at weights above me and what have you as well, and I feel like I can hold my own at that level. I'm confident in my ability, and I will get in there with anyone. I've proved that as the same in the amateurs as well. I'd always jump at the opportunities, and I've always done the same as the pros. I just want more opportunities and a bit of backing from a promoter or something eventually would be nice, wouldn't it? Because I've heard a lot of things. Like I remember Johnny Nelson saying about people having to go and they should get someone to follow him around with a camera and do all the YouTube stuff. I feel like some of the promoters now are saying basically, well, go promote yourself and then we'll do it once you've already got to a certain stage, if you know what I mean. But I think it's hard. It's hard for us, we're only normal people. I can't afford to pay for someone to come follow me around to the gym all day or follow me to work or whatever we're doing. You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
Like I feel like I feel like promoters need to come together a little bit more, and that's the problem in boxing, isn't it? It's the
weird.
Frustrating thing with me, because I feel like it's very fragmented,
Yeah.
And I feel like then you've got certain promoters saying, and people on TV like Johnny Nelson said about, fighters should get the mate to follow him around with the camera, and I think fair enough, we should do a little bit like that, but it's hard when you've got people doing it, when they're comparing it to he was comparing it to the KSI and Logan Paul and this kind of stuff, wasn't he?
Okay.
But they're massive and they've got, a lot of money behind them, invested into them, and without a promoter doing a job of a promoter, in my eyes, and a governing body that's making the promoters work together and whatnot, and getting these fights on. But it's
a business at the end of the day.
That's it. It is a business, and I'm aware of that. I'm not daft, but it is the thing that does makes the sport a little bit frustrating at times, especially for
you
fighters.
Can understand, can't you, why all these Instagram and all these YouTubers and stuff are doing so well? It's because they've got such a big footprint. Well, listen, I'll tell you straight, Harry. I'm involved. I've got a lot of strings to my bow when it comes to boxing. And if I can help with anything with you moving forward, I do it all the time for loads of different fighters. So if you need posters or videos or anything like that, just let me know, mate. I'm deadly honest. I'll sort you out. I really mean that. I do it for loads of fighters. And I'm not not an empty promise, mate. I'll
and that's another thing as well. I'm not saying that as in like a pity party type of way, because if I was that person to be on social media all the time, then fair enough. But that's just not my makeup to constantly be on social media. I'm busy with work because I'm not daft. I know a lot of boxers end up financially not secure, so I'm making sure I'm secure outside of boxing as well.
That's good. You got head on your shoulders, mate. I like it.
Yeah, definitely. But I'll jump in there and fight anyone. And that's what I want to do. Every couple of months would suit me. This long wait, even between the champions and, even in the heavyweights. I know, it's business that holds it up. But if they could fight every couple of months, we'd be laughing, wouldn't we? Not even every couple of months. Every, 4 months. 3 to 4 months. I don't see why everyone can't box that often, to be honest.
They're too scared of a no, aren't they? That's all it is. They're too scared of a loss. And it wasn't like back in the 90s and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Everybody fought everybody before that.
Every couple of weeks for world titles, wasn't it?
Madness
for world champions. But,
I mean, you've got right now DAZN, you've got Boxer, and then you've got Frank. Which do you think, if you could pick, Which would you go for and why?
I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? I'm not sure, but I think boxer. I feel like they could have given me an opportunity and didn't give me an opportunity. So I feel like I'm a bit anti-boxer, and then I feel like I don't know. Frank Warren's always been about, and he does good shows and stuff. Frank, and then Eddie Hearn was always the one when I was coming up, amateurs and stuff. It was always right. If you were going to turn pro, then your dream contract, if you like, would come from Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, wouldn't it? But the DAZN thing, it makes it interesting because it's that's all a bit up in the air, isn't it? I don't think it's quite been as successful as they originally would have liked. I don't know
what it is. For me, Harry, this, mate, and I want to push this to you. I don't like the model from the start. I don't like that kind of model from the start. So the thing that even though boxer are doing really, really well, and so is Frank doing really well, is because it's also on terrestrial TV. So people can watch the football. Are you with me? And then stumble onto the boxing's on later.
Yeah.
Go on then. Yeah, I'll watch that or keep the channel on. Where it's DAZN, you need a separate subscription. It's £20 a month. You have to download an app. You have to. Do you know what I mean? It's very Americanized. So I don't see it working long term. I don't. No. I want to talk to you about this though. I definitely want to talk to you about this. So there's a big fight happening really, really soon with Anthony Joshua against Deontay Wilder, rumored to be in December of this year in Saudi Arabia. How do you feel that fight will go?
Well, I think I think Joshua is a little bit gun shy, and I think when he gets caught with one shot, he don't want to stay in the exchanges. You know, he'll want to get out. He'll want to be on the back foot. I don't know. I think he's really struggling, to be honest, with his style and with what, you know, he's obviously got a lot of pressure on him, and his rise was, you know, rapid, wasn't it? His way through the Olympics to a world title in the amount of time he's been boxing. But I don't know. I feel like he's got a lot on. I feel like Wilder would win. I feel like Wilder would land that because he is wild, and you know he's not the best technically, but to land that backhand as many times as he has and knocked out as many people as he has, you know, there's something there. There is some skill behind it as well.
Well, he's knocked out. Anyway. Well, apart from Fury, he's knocked out everybody. That he's ever
and even
fought.
Fury's had down, hasn't he? However many times in their trilogy, you know. So I think if you can do that consistently, whether you look as bad as he does, you know, there's something to it, and I think that power will be the difference there. And I feel like he is game. Look at him against Fury. He wants to go out on his shield. He's not bothered with taking a shot. So I think that'd be the difference in that fight. To be fair, what do you think?
It's the big buff for me.
Yeah,
I think it's if Ruiz can punch. He might be a bit of a big lad, but he can punch and he's got fast hands. The only thing is with that is it's Wilder's an immense finisher. Wilder isn't. If he's got you hurt, I don't think that Joshua has the resolve or the mental strength right now to, like you said, once he gets stung with that right hand, he will go for him. And I don't think he's going to be able to take it. I think the only thing is he's getting no younger though, Harry. Do you know what I mean? He's getting no younger. So what can you do? You can go back fighting Jermaine Franklin's or whoever else. Do you know what I mean? And then still be back in the same position. Whereas you can get this I mean, I think if I was in his corner, I'd be advising not to take that fight at this stage. Maybe a couple of warm-up fights, then that fight. But he's a risk. Even in his warm-up fights, you'd be thinking, should have put him in with Dylan White because Dylan White might clean him. Do you know what I mean?
Or even Zhang or someone like that, like we seen the other week. You know,
I wouldn't like to see him with Zhang.
No, not after that performance the other week. Southpaw who can bang like that. You know, I don't know.
With an head like a bowling ball.
But and I think the way when you see fighters chase things with going around the houses with different trainers and whatnot, I think it never really works, does it? I don't think it ever really works. When we've seen it in the past, I don't know. I don't think it works. So I think it's all on for him, to be fair. I think he's got it all on.
Yeah, and of course another fight is Tyson Fury against Andy Ruiz. Now, it's been a bit weird lately because there was Kubrat Pulev that was a potential. Zhang, again, was another potential for Tyson Fury. But now it's going to be Ruiz. I mean, how do you see that fight going between Tyson Fury and Andy Ruiz?
Yeah, I think Tyson's just too big and too classy. I think that's that fight really. I think he's too big. He's too classy. I mean, Ruiz had a good fight against Parker, didn't he?
Awesome fight.
Yeah, really good fight. But I don't know. I think he's just that level above Fury. I think he's that level above everyone else in the heavyweights. Well, apart from Usyk, that's the fight. That's the fight I'd like to see. Fury and Usyk. I think everyone would be the same there really. But it doesn't look like it's gonna happen, does it? And it looks like it's gonna be Ruiz, which is a decent fight. And after he upset AJ the way he did, it's always going to sell, innit? So
yeah,
I think.
I mean,
but
do
I
you think he
think
deserves it?
Do
you think he deserves his shot at Fury?
I don't know. Who did he beat? Who did he beat last time? Ruiz. I can't think off the top of my head. But he hasn't really beat any. He hasn't beat anyone of note really since Joshua, has he?
He fought. What's his name? That old school heavyweight. It looks like got a face like Putty. You know what I'm about, don't you? He's got a horrible name.
Did he fight Ortiz? No, he didn't fight Ortiz, did he?
He fought that guy with the horrible name. I can't remember what he's called. It sounds gross. His name.
Yeah, but I don't. But I don't know. I think he's got the big name off what happened with AJ. And it sells, done it. It will sell, but it's not a great fight for me. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not
I agree. It's going to wind me up if I don't. Yeah, he did fight Ortiz, but he fought Chris Arreola. That's what I meant by the horrible name.
Yeah, that's it.
Chris Nipple.
Yeah.
Brilliant, great stuff.
Leatherface looking, isn't he?
Yeah, he looks like Putty face. I mean, looking back on Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. So Andy Ruiz has quite openly said, listen, I didn't train for the fight. I was eating food off naked women, like a tray. I would just at Snickers. I didn't really care. Do you think that basically Joshua was seen as this next coming of Muhammad Ali, when it really wound me up because he didn't do anything really. He was again very gun shy. But do you think if Andy Ruiz would have come in fitter, even fitter maybe than that first fight, do you think he'd have probably ended his career at that point?
He could have, but that's only Andy Ruiz. He's got himself to blame for. I suppose he'd made the money, and it must have gone to his head. But yeah, he messed up. He messed up there. Preparing how he did, and he's come out and said how he did. I mean, look how heavy he came in for that fight, and he was poor in that fight as well. But I don't know. I think if he was on it again, like it was the first time, or like you said, even more so, because he would have had more notice. If he late notice on it the first time round, he should have been even better, and he should have probably won because AJ was still gun shy, wasn't he, in that fight, in the rematch.
Completely agree.
Ruiz was just so heavy, he just couldn't do much, could he?
No, he didn't have the legs. He was there for the picking. He really was.
Yeah, well, it was poor.
For me, mate, I just want to say, a huge thank you for coming on the show. Great news about the fight, with potential fight. Fingers crossed that gets, over the line with Echo Esserman. Again, just respect to Echo. He's a great fighter. He's doing really, really well. I'm really, really chuffed for him. But I thank you so much for coming on the show. I will absolutely follow your career and support you in every way I can. So thanks for coming on, Harry, mate.
Nice one. Yeah, thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
Nice one.
Top lad. Interesting about the Joshua and Wilder situation. Everybody watching, make sure you like, make sure you share. I'm going to be picking a winner a little bit later on, so make sure you share, make sure you like. Cheers. So I've got my last guest on here. Certainly, last but not least, Nathaniel Collins. Nathaniel is a very, very special fighter. I'm really excited to ask him a few questions I've got planned for him. So stay tuned. We're going to bring it on now, the British and Commonwealth champion. Nathaniel Collins.
Hello.
Thank you. What a legend you are. Thank you for coming on the show, mate. Thanks for being so patient there in the background. It's great to see you. Such a talented fighter. So just to introduce you, Nathaniel Collins, you have a fantastic record of 12-0. And not only that, you are the British and also the Commonwealth champion. So fantastic. Absolutely unreal. And I want to start again. I want people to learn a bit about you, and I want to learn a bit about you as well. Tell us a bit about your background. How did you get into boxing?
So I just had one of my big cousins was a professional fighter, Ryan Collins, and he fought Charlie Flynn a couple of times. So I seen him box when I was just a kid, 14, 13. And I never really done any other sports, so I get sent to the gym to try it out, and same kind of thing, just got in there, loved it, stuck in.
Fantastic, fantastic. Everybody join in and make sure you share, make sure you like the stream. I'm going to be giving away some merch a little bit later on. If you want to be in a chance of winning, make sure you do. Really interested in you, Nathaniel. I don't know why, but I've said this to people before. I will look, I've got loads and loads of boxers and fighters, and what I do is I see someone and I think, he's got a bit about him. So I take a screenshot on my phone. That's what I do. Let's take a screenshot and go, right, I'm going to speak to him. And that's what I did with you. And I saw it. I'm very, very interested in you and your career, especially with you being up in Scotland. So what does it mean to you to be known as the British and Commonwealth champion? Because that's a hell of a feat.
Yeah, mate. It's funny, like I've won the Commonwealth like 2 years ago now, or something along them lines 2 years ago, and people were always saying to me, British next, blah 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 blah. But I've never ever been started boxing and thought, right, I want to be the British champion. Loads of people think, oh, I want to be the British champion, that's the route I want to go. But I was always more, I want to be a world champion, and if the British is a stepping stone to get to that, then fair enough. But as I was coming up, when I was with Fight Zone, there was possibilities for like an IBF and international, or a WBA European, or IBF European, or whatever it was, and that was the kind of route of, okay, you don't need to go that route, you can go this route to get closer to a world title quicker. So it's funny, I've never been bothered about the British, although now I've got the British, it's a different story. It's a lovely belt.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Pretty sad. Recently, with you being a Scottish fighter, is the loss of a legendary Scottish fighter in Ken Buchanan, best known for his war with Roberto Duran. What are your thoughts on that? It's such a huge loss.
Yeah, majorly sad. Ken Buchanan was about most of the shows, especially when I was coming through, as a younger boy, and he was always at all the shows. And when the guys from my gym turned pro, like they were pro 4 or 5 years before me, and he was always about, so he had time for everyone. And even when you speak now and you hear everyone speaking, he always had time for everyone. Everyone's got really fond, happy memories of him. So it's crazy actually, because the day after I won the British, or the week after I won the British, we went down to Edinburgh, me and my missus, and we were walking through, and there's obviously the big statue of Ken Buchanan, so we went down and seen him, and she never knew who he was, and I was saying he had his Lonsdale belt on the statue, and I was like, give me back my belt, give me back my belt. It's a joke. And she was laughing, and then obviously we came up the road, and a couple of days later he passed, and it was just a shame, really.
Yeah, it is. He's arguably the best, or at least top 3 Scottish fighters of all time. So absolutely sad loss. On to good news though. So you've recently been signed by Frank Warren, which I thought was amazing. And what was even more amazing is I'd asked you to come on the show like a week or two before. I didn't even know you were getting signed by Frank. So congratulations. How does it feel to now have this machine behind you?
Yeah, mate, it's unbelievable. There's nobody really, minus Josh Taylor, about in Scotland that's doing something that big just now, and is on a platform that big just now. So yeah, I'm blessed to have that opportunity, and of course I've worked hard for it. So it's been a long time coming, in the sense that I've been pushing for so long, I've been working so hard for so long, and it was just starting to get that way where I was like, is it ever going to happen? Is this meant to be? And I'm quite a strong believer in whatever it'll be. So it was getting to that stage that if nothing was going to happen, I wasn't sure if I was going to continue boxing, because it was just, you heard there for Harry before, it's hard. Like, it's hard.
Yeah.
If you've got no back, and if you've got no nothing, I just had a kid, and it's been
Congratulations, mate.
Thank you.
A
It's
little
been one
boy,
of
little
the
girl?
years, a little girl.
Yeah,
So it's been
amazing.
one of the years of you just had a kid, you're paying for the house, you're trying to live your life, and then also you try to succeed in boxing. So it's good to now
Great
have a
that you
pat
get signed by Frank and just had a baby. Go on, son. That's
back.
brilliant news. That's great news. Fantastic. So, how come? Obviously, British and Commonwealth champion. You've been Commonwealth champion for quite some time. Why has it took so long for the bigger promoters come into you? Because you think they'd have already come into you by now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of the ones, isn't it? You don't know what's going on or who's doing what or what the politics are or anything behind that. I thought after I had the Commonwealth that was going to be my kind of breakout fight.
Yeah.
I won that in 3 rounds. It wasn't, and then I ended up fighting Jacob Robinson, Stephen Robinson's son. So after that, I was like, okay, this is my breakout fight, and it was a fight loads of people thought I was going to lose. And then after that fight, I put on a 12-round masterclass, and I was like, that must be it now. It must be it now.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. And then obviously, even right after the British, it was 2 weeks or nearly 2 weeks before we heard anything from anybody. So it was a strange one.
Interesting. Whenever I see your name or hear you in interviews, and I've done a lot of my research on yourself, is all I ever hear is Nick Ball and Nick Ball, Nick Ball, Nick Ball. How do you feel the fight would go between you and Nick Ball? Because he is very exciting. He is very exciting. So, I mean, how do you feel the fight would go between you two?
Yeah, mate. I don't. It's one of the ones I can't deny. Wouldn't deny Nick Ball's an interesting or entertaining fighter, but for me, and it cemented it for me the other week when Andrew Kane lost, is these guys only have one game plan. They can't box. They're strong. They want to come. They want to go on the front foot. They want to do what they're comfortable doing, and when they can't get their way, there's no plan B. They have a plan A, and it's smash, try and knock you out. And when that doesn't happen, it's only a matter of time till, if it's not me, it's going to be somebody else that you can't get out of there, and it's going to be a struggle. So,
Okay. I mean, looking at you, you're about 4 inches taller than Nick Ball. Do you feel that'll play a massive role in the fight?
not necessarily. Like, everybody's 4 inches taller than Nick Ball, so it's not as if it's something new that he's not been in there with yet. My difference is my lateral movement, my head movement, my feet, my quickness. There's nobody like that he's been in with before. He's fighting these sticks that are upright, no head movement, no nothing. The last guy got hit with a big hook, and then the next shot he was standing chin in the air getting hit with the same hook. So much more slick and I'm much more clever than these guys that they've got me in with now.
Okay, I like the idea of having more than just a one plan A. Plan A to Z is what you need. I mean, I hear you don't particularly like him. From would that be? I mean, why is that? And is the way he portrays himself or things he said to you? Have you had a run in? What's going on?
Yeah, but I would have had no problem with him before. He came out and he was like, "Oh, basically, I'm scared to fight. I'm this and that." I'd just posted a video the week that we were meant to fight him. Obviously, I'd fought the Jacob Robinson fight. My hand was it wasn't broke, but it was swollen up like twice the size. The video's on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, so you can see it. There was no lies there. We'd asked to fight maybe August, and they had offered like June or July. And I said on the phone when the offer came through, like, I'll 100% fight him, but there's no chance I can fight on that date, kind of thing.
Okay.
And the agreement was, okay, we won't fight in that date, but we'll put it out and then move it back, type thing. And then he came out and he's like, right, he's basically shot it, and he won't be getting that chance again. And he's below me, like, I'm up here, I'm world level. This guy's beneath me, and I thought, just who do you think you are, mate? You've fought absolutely nobody.
Okay. I mean, from the media, don't get me wrong, some of the media are bogus, but they are literally tarring Nick Ball with literally the next coming of Mike Tyson. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, mate, it's like you said before, but AJ was the next coming of Muhammad Ali. Everybody's the next coming of somebody until they become unstuck. So is what it is. I think it's funny because the people he's been put in with have been handpicked. If you
Okay.
look at his record before the Isaac Lowe fight, he was like 16-0 with 8 knockouts. So I'm 12-0 with 6 knockouts, but I'm not the next coming of Mike Tyson, am I?
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I like that. I like that. So, as far as your career, then, so what's next for you then? When are we going to see you back in the ring?
I'm not 100% yet. I'm waiting to hear, obviously, on what's happening with Queensberry and when the next kind of show is. I'm hoping to be out in July as the kind of date that I'm hearing, but I've got nothing confirmed yet, so just stay prepped, stay ready, and good to go. Maybe somebody will pull out one of these world title fights on the 27th. I'll slot in.
You can jump yourself straight in.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So on to boxing as a whole. There's a exciting rematch about to happen between Lee Wood and Mauricio Lara, which is a surprise to me that Lee Wood is going to be taking that, considering the outcome of the previous fight. How do you see it panning out?
Yeah, I'm not that surprised that he took it again. I thought he was on a comfortable path to winning the first one, you know. They'll need to work on like a bit more concentration and focus over the 12 rounds because he can't switch off for even a second against Lara. He's just too dangerous. But Lee was beating him up, and I don't see why he couldn't do it again. Lara didn't look necessarily that great in my opinion, but obviously he's just got that crazy power to switch our lights off. So
he's just got that equaliser, hasn't he? It's a bit like a Wilder. Do you know what I mean?
100%. But I think if they stick to a game plan this time, Wood, if he keeps him long, keeps him on the end of straight punches, doesn't try to engage too much, he'll beat him up the same way he beat him up the last time. I could see Lee Wood stopping him. So
okay. It's interesting.
That's my opinion.
So let's say I like playing this from time to time. So let's say you were in Wood's corner.
Yeah.
What would you be telling him? Would you say in the corner? Would you be, again? You've said about keeping switched on, but what would you be saying stylistically?
I would just say keep the shots straight, keep them long, keep switching up like he was before. He was switching up head and body, and Lara did not like it at all to the body. You could see him tiring as the fight went on and getting scrappy, and as long as you just stay switched on, he should comfortably box his way either a victory or he'll be able to systematically beat him down until he gets a stoppage. But the problem there is if you get that comfortable and you're beating him down, it only takes that one shot to change the tide. So
we've seen it, and we'll see it again and again. I mean, if Wood was to take a loss to Lara, if he was to take a loss to Lara, where do you see him going?
He's still world level. I think when you get to that level, it's very hard to go backwards. You would put him in still with any of the other champions. You know, Conlon's fighting Lopez. You would love to see Lee Wood v Mick Conlon again. That was probably one of the best fights I've seen live.
Unreal.
In a long, long time. And you would see that fight happening again, especially if Conlon won his world title. You've got your boys over in America. Figueroa's got the interim WBC and stuff. So he's still up at that level, and it's just unfortunate that he holds the WBA, and that's Lara's or held it. That was Lara's path.
Mm-hmm. I like it. So where can we follow you? Where can we kind of follow you on social media?
Instagram, Twitter. Instagram is just Nathaniel Collins. Twitter, Nate Collins 60. I'm just getting used to using Twitter, to be honest. It's one of the ones. Everybody's on Twitter. Everybody's Twitter.
I don't get it.
I'm terrible. I don't. I got invited to my first Twitter talk or something the other day, and everybody's in it talking over each other and stuff. And I was like, "What's going on here?"
I haven't got a clue about Twitter, mate. I've never been able to at. Honestly, I'm absolutely useless.
Nah, I'm the same. I just don't get it, and especially like back in the day when I was tweeting, you could only get like 40 characters or something, and I was like, I've got too much to say for only 40. That's elsewhere.
Absolute legend, bro. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We're really looking forward to seeing you back out in the ring. I will massively follow your career and push us. There's something like 220,000 of us just on Facebook alone. Who, all of us will be pushing you and saying big well done and a big good luck for the future with your career, mate.
Amazing, mate. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate your time.
Pleasure's all mine. Cheers, champ.
Thank you.
What a lad. What a lad. So for people just joining, what a show it's been. First of all, we had a pantomime played by a voice impressionist, which I can't wait to edit down. It's going to be so funny. We also had Nathaniel Collins, the British and Commonwealth champion, and also Harry Scarff, who's going to be fighting for the British title next time out. So thank you again for watching the show. Thank you for all of the support. We'll be back next week with some very, very exciting guests. I'm not going to say too much because I'm just sorting it out. But what I will say is I think you're going to really, really like it. So thanks everybody for tuning in. If you're over on YouTube, make sure you press the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified in our next videos. And keep tuned. We're here every single Sunday at 8:30 GMT. And I just want to say you're all legends. Thanks for watching. Be safe. Stick into your boxing. See you next week.